guys, it's Kaylee. For those of you who don't know me, I co-own Shady Ladies Trading with my sister Dakota. She doesn't live with me or near me. She lives about an hour away, so unfortunately she can't be in a lot of the videos that I do because I kind of handle the social media aspect of things. But that's just a little background. For this video, I kind of wanted to dive into the materials of our hat bands, so what we use to make them and why. Just, you know, remember, it's all preference. The more you bead, the better you'll get at it, and the more you'll find what you like. So whatever I'm saying or doing, or where I like to buy my things, that's what I like to do. You feel free to branch out and do your thing and find the things that you like. This is just kind of a beginning tutorial, and I hope it does you guys well. So I'm gonna dive in. I've got some materials next to me. Okay, so to dive in a little bit, my first tip would be not to worry about buying the expensive looms or the expensive beads or products like that. It's just gonna cost you a lot of money, and then if you end up later on down the road deciding that you don't like beading, then you're just gonna be out all that money on a lot of expensive materials. So I will recommend that you just buy one of the cheaper metal small looms that are sold on Amazon. I think you can get them for like 10 bucks. I think I got mine for. I don't quite remember. I can leave a link below. Buy that. There's some cheap beads that it comes with and some string, and then use that to practice before you go and buy the expensive stuff. Now, if you do want to go and get the expensive stuff, that's fine. I just am trying to save you a little bit of money. I know it was a little rough for me when I first started because I was living on my own. Okay, so the loom I currently use is called an angled loom. It looks like this, nothing super fancy or anything. It's just some plywood, something simple. You could probably even make it if you wanted to. I bought mine from Etsy. I'll leave all the links below, so don't worry. It angles it, if you can tell, right about there. It angles it towards your face so you don't have to hunch over. I've noticed a lot of the times when I'm using other looms, I always have to hunch over, and then I end up getting shoulder strains. So this is just really helpful because I avoid the shoulder strains with that. Moving on, I buy all of my leather at Hobby Lobby. So it's just simple leather strands, and it's just a preference on how you want to buy leather, to be honest with you. These big squares like this, I can cut to any size, any length, any width that I want. You also, sorry, I'm doing these in takes, so if it seems a little iffy, I've not taken too many videos before, so this is a new thing to me. Anyway, you can also buy straps like this, leather straps that are already pre-cut from Etsy makers. It is a lot more expensive. So I don't recommend doing it off the bat, but if you're worried about measuring and everything, that's what these are great for. I buy them in 1 inch thick, because essentially most hat bands I make are an inch or less thick. So if I make a hat band that's less than an inch thick, this is really easy to trim. I have a bunch of different colors, just because each hat band, you know, has different colors that will match and some that don't. Like this color, I definitely would not match it with this hat band at all. So I like variety. It's up to you though, like I said, preferences and everything. The next thing I do is use cord that I also buy from Hobby Lobby. It's kind of like, it's a leather cord. So I don't know if you can see it. It's probably backwards, yeah. But I'll list it down below too. I use size 1 millimeter by, and then 25 yards of it. This is just to tie the hat bands behind the hat. So I'll show you guys here. Right here, this is where the leather cord comes into play so they can tie their hat bands together. You don't have to use this leather cord though. You can use very, very thin strips of these leathers if you want to cut out your own. The only reason I like leather cord is because if I cut them out like this, it usually comes out crooked. I'm not a leather maker, so I just like things easy. If you can work leather, go for it. Good for you, because I sure can't. Okay, so on to beads. My first hat band I finished, I've got it right here actually, But I just want to let you guys know ahead of time, it did take me about 3 decent tries to figure out a good technique and how to get everything down. So don't feel discouraged if you got to cut some of that string away or skip and practice. But anyway, moving on. This is the first hat band. As you can tell, I use shiny beads. It's called opaque finish or luster finish. This one is matte right here. Along the years, I have found out that I do not like using opaque finish when making hat bands. The only reason is I feel like it distracts from the beauty of the beadwork itself and the patterns. That is the reason why I do not use them. Now, I have seen a few opaque hat bands that I absolutely adore and absolutely love. So if you want to use opaque, go for it. Send me some pictures because I'd love to see them. Okay, so matte beads are what I prefer. Where I buy my beads, I get them from firemountaingems.com. Now, Toho is a little on the pricier side when you buy in bulk, but I promise you it's so worth it. I have had no issues with bead width. Now, what I mean by that is there's all different kinds of sizes of beads. I use seed beads size 11-0, and if I buy them from Amazon or whatnot, I've noticed that the width of the bead itself varies, and then when you're beading, it doesn't line up right, and then it's just all spaced out. And you can kind of tell in this one, like there's more holes and stuff. It's hard to see, but there's just more air and more space in between the beads, and I don't like that. It's not a clean finish. So if you want a clean finish, make sure that you buy the same beads by the same company over and over again, because you'll find they fit better together. Okay. So I told you guys that I like Toho beads. Now, there is another bead that I have used before, and they're called Delicas. Delicas are a little more rectangular, like more square-like, or cylindrical. There we go. That's probably more a better term. Cylindrical. So as you can tell with this hat band, this is one I never finished because they discontinued the color I was using and I ran out. So these are more cylindrical, but you can tell they fit super, super nice together. There's literally no space between any of the beads whatsoever, and the finish is super fine. They're really small though, so it takes a lot of patience to use Delicas, which is why I don't use them, because I have patience, but when I see the pattern coming out, I get a little excited, and I don't want to have to use smaller beads to get to my goals. So use the Delicas. They're pretty good. But like I said, just remember, if you start with Delicas, keep using Delicas, because these Delicas, these cylindrical ones, are not going to match with these circular ones. These are Tohos. They're not going to match. You can't bead them together. You can't combine them. If you're using Delicas, finish with Delicas and use that throughout your entire hat band. If you're using Tohos, same goes. As for needles, I was using vintage pony needles because my dad used to bead hat bands many years ago when he was my age, and he gave me a whole box of all of his stuff, and he had pony needles. I found out that modern day pony needles are not as great as the vintage pony needles were. I have found tulip needles to be the best ones, and there's a reason for this. That's because tulip needles are very hard to bend, and not only that, they come with a gold eye, which can help you see your thread going through the eye of the needle way easier. I just love them. You can use any certain lengths that you want. I kind of go for about a 3-inch or so length in needle, just because it's easier to move in between each row of beads, and it also allows you to maneuver when you're trying to tie off some stuff. String. I thought I brought out a tube of string, but I can't find it. So I buy my string off of Amazon. I buy them in bulk. Some of them come in tubes. I recommend Beadsmith string, and then I use S long, and that's just the size of string. It fits through the eye of the needle really well. It's thick enough that it's sturdy. So it's sturdy, but it also won't break. So it's very, very durable. And check out Beadsmith on Amazon. You can get string in a bunch of different colors, including blues, greens, reds, browns, blacks, all of that. I recommend trying to match your string to the base color or main color that you'll be using in beads, just so it doesn't stand out. It makes it a lot easier and it just blends and looks better finish. That's essentially all of the materials that I use for my products. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. If I left anything out and you're questioning it, let me know. I pretty much respond as quick as I can, and I'm very on top of it, so feel free to ask those and I'll answer them for you guys, okay? Don't be shy. Thanks.